Today on KUJH News, the City Commission finally approved a parking plan months in the making. See where the new spots are located. A KU basketball player with a special talent. Find out exactly what that is. And a woman's fight against breast cancer and what she says saved her life. You're watching KUJH News.
From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome to KUJH. I'm Ellis Wiltsey. Lawrence PD is investigating an armed robbery that happened early this morning. Police responded to a call at 2:18 a.m. to a residence on the 700 block of Ash Street. Sergeant Amy Rhodes confirmed that 3 suspects, with their faces covered, entered the home demanding money. The resident suffered minor injuries and the investigation is still ongoing. Watkins Health Services and the KU School of Pharmacy hosted a drug take-back today on campus. This event is part of a national initiative put out by the Drug Enforcement Administration. Student, faculty, and Lawrence residents dropped off their items at this tent in the side lot of Watkins. People could drop off items into confidential bins located inside the tent. Approved items include expired, unused, or unwanted prescription drugs. These events do not accept liquids, needles, syringes, or unused medical supplies. Proper disposal of medications is a driving force behind organizing events like this.
For the safety of people, there are more people that will use medication that doesn't belong to them, and so if you get rid of it, you remove it from that potential.
The City of Lawrence will host another drug take-back this Saturday from 10 to 2. The Lawrence City Commission approved a parking proposal on Tuesday that will bring the Here apartment complex up to code. Despite opening in August, the Here complex has been unable to rent more than 10% of its units. City zoning code requires sufficient parking. Under the approved proposal, Here will partner with KU Endowment to build an additional parking lot near 11th and Mississippi. This lot will add 68 new parking spaces. KU Endowment will lease the lot to Here, with the restriction of the lot being vacated on days of KU football home games. The Douglas County Commission will consider changing county code regarding small-scale industrial use in Wednesday night's meeting. This amendment would allow people with a conditional permit to do small-scale industrial uses in rural areas. Some of the activities allowed with this permit would be light manufacturing, product assembly, and food production. The Lawrence Douglas Planning Commission is bringing this proposal to the meeting with unanimous recommendation for approval. October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The American Cancer Society says breast cancer is the most diagnosed cancer in the world next to skin cancer. Over 40,000 women in the United States are expected to lose their lives to breast cancer this year. KUJH reporter Libby McNulty has more on how to survive this deadly affliction.
Breast cancer affects women and their families all over the world. I caught up with one woman who says her positive attitude about having cancer saved her life.
Breast cancer survivor Kathy Guth says she always knew she would beat breast cancer. Guth says that the hardest part about having breast cancer for her and her family was the chemotherapy.
First treatment, that went fine, so you think, okay, things are going to be well. The second treatment, it wasn't so great on it, and so my hair started falling out, and that was very traumatic when it would come out in handfuls.
KU Professor of Medicine Dr. Carol Fabian says 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Nurse practitioner Kathy Guth says lifestyle changes may help prevent cancer.
Weight is something that men and women can take care of, and that will help to lower your risks. We also know that alcohol now is a bigger factor for lifestyle changes, and physical activity, the more active that you are, that's going to help a lot.
According to data from the American Cancer Society, more women are being diagnosed with breast cancer than in the past 4 decades. This is because of longer life expectancy, and early detection. Reporting in Lawrence, I'm Libby McAnulty, KUJH News.
The Emily Taylor Center for Women and Gender Equality is hosting a screening of the film Pink Ribbons Incorporated tonight at 7 in the Jayhawk Room of the Kansas Union. The screening is part of an effort to raise awareness about the commercialization and fundraising of the movement to end breast cancer. Well, still to come on KUJH News, what Americans are still looking for in tonight's presidential debates, and two brothers that claim to be destined runners since birth. Stay with us.
We connected so fast when we first met. I think that our relationship will last for a lifetime.
Being a role model for someone, being there for someone, there's nothing I can compare it to. She has uncles up in Minnesota that treat me like I'm their own now.
I feel like she's actually my big sister in a way.
It's been one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, B, console her,
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our world. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
With elections rounding the corner, United States voters are paying special attention to the nitty-gritty details of the two candidates. But the Muslim communities around the United States are feeling extra heat from Donald Trump, who proposed a ban against Muslims entering the country last December. Reporter Caitlin Ungerer discovered what it's like to be a Muslim American student here in Lawrence.
Muslim communities around the U.S. say it's harder to be Muslim today than after the 9/11 attack. Their reasoning? The ringleader behind anti-immigration and deportation, Donald Trump.
I think he doesn't have any concrete platforms, so he has to run a campaign based on fear. And so in order to do that, you have to make someone or some group the other. And at this point in time, it's so easy to make Muslims and Muslim Americans and people from the Middle East the other because of all the conflict that's going on there.
Trump has called for extreme vetting regarding people who may be a threat to the United States, and his reaction to KUJH earlier this year reinforced his stance on minority groups.
Hate crimes against Muslims appear to be on the rise. Researchers at California State University found they were up 78% in 2015. But Muslim votes will become increasingly important as they are projected to make up about 2% of the total population by 2050.
Although Lawrence is a liberal city, many Muslim students are still discriminated against on a daily basis.
A lot of our students were feeling, heightened sense of fear. A lot of people were thinking, maybe should I go back home and finish my degree closer to my family? And another factor that plays into this is that concealed carry will be allowed on campus during the summer. So there are a lot of factors that are coming into play, and I think the political rhetoric around it is really making it hard for a lot of people.
Whether Trump will continue to instill fear among groups like Muslim Americans will be decided in just a few short weeks. Reporting in Lawrence, I'm Caitlin Unger, KUJH News.
For more information, you can visit the KU Muslim Student Association Facebook page. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas is preparing for tonight's final presidential debate. As we head into the third presidential debate, many American citizens are still unsure who they will vote for. People are looking for Clinton and Trump to make a solid case on why each of them should be president without mentioning each other's names. Fox News' Chris Wallace will host the final presidential debate at 8 p.m. Iraqi and Kurdish forces are seizing additional villages from ISIS at a faster pace than expected. According to a Peshmerga military commander, recapturing Mosul from ISIS could take 2 months. But the coalition troops are already on the outskirts of Mosul today, making steady progress towards the city. Mosul is a crucial location because it is the largest city under ISIS control in Syria and Iraq. KU cross country is getting ready for the Big 12 championship at the end of October. Our KUJH reporter, Sam Alla, caught up with some of the runners, but to talk about something a little different than just a race.
People say you have to be kind of crazy to pick a sport like cross country, but for some runners, they don't choose this high endurance sport, but rather get born into it. Mulgara's father ran at Adams State University, while his mother ran at Emporia State University. And this power-running couple have come to every meet to cheer on their sons. Oh yeah, there's 2 of them, both of which Susan Mulgaris showed them the ropes. The Mulgaris brothers have created a special and healthy competition on the field, but also a roommate relationship off the field. Yeah, these brothers are almost too close. The separation time might have to be a little bit longer, because guess who just made a college visit to KU? Kara Mulgaris, the sister. From Lawrence, Sam Ola, KUJH News.
Soon the entire cross-country team will be full of the Mulgaris family. But hey, no complaints here, and no complaints about this weather, feeling unseasonably warm. Jacob Ackerman is here to tell us a little bit about what's ahead this week.
Yeah, Ellis, with the temperatures we had early on this week, you would have thought it was late July or early August. But good news for you fall weather fans, a more typical fall weather pattern is starting to set up. With it, we can expect a gorgeous homecoming week. Here's your almanac for today. Nothing really special going on here. What I really want to point out is our record of 86 degrees for today. Now, a couple of days ago, Sunday, we hit 87 degrees. Monday, when we actually broke our record by 1 degree with 89, well above our record for this time of year. In fact, in Kansas, Texas, and Oklahoma, they were reporting 100 degrees. Tonight, 60 degrees, mostly clear skies, might have a light northeast wind. So if you're planning on going out to Dollar Night, or you're like me, have a late night in the library, might not be a bad idea to bring a light jacket. Here's your hourly planner for tomorrow. Starting your day off a little on the chilly side, 52 degrees. It's going to stay mostly cloudy for the day, which will keep things from warming up too much. By 2 o'clock, 61 degrees, and by 7 o'clock, you're going to round your day off with 55. By Friday, things do begin to warm up, however, looking at 66 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Saturday, your Jayhawks take on Oklahoma State during the homecoming game, 73 degrees before rounding your week off. Sunday, 74 degrees, mostly cloudy, mostly sunny skies. So it's going to be a beautiful week for some homecoming football, Ellis.
Definitely perfect weather for some football, but it looks like another Jayhawk team in the sports world is doing a little better than the football team.
Yeah, you know, the weather is cooling down, but the Kansas volleyball team continues to heat up as they prepare to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers Thursday night. We'll look into that game ahead, and plus, to say Ryan Willis has struggled in his first 2 starts this season would be putting it nicely. What is the solution to KU's quarterback problem? Stay tuned.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center. Keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. so he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
We connected so fast when we first met. I think that our relationship will last for a lifetime.
Being a role model for someone, being there for someone, there's nothing I can compare it to. She has uncles up in Minnesota that treat me like I'm their own now.
I feel like she's actually my big sister in a way.
It's been one of the best decisions I think I've ever made.
Welcome back to sports. 2 weeks ago, David Beatty made a switch as starting quarterback to Ryan Willis over Montel Cozart. Now, after no touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 2 losses later for Willis, Beatty isn't sure what the quarterback situation looks like.
And Ryan, I know he has said this before, just making sure that your eyes are in the right spot and that you're not just picking out routes. That'll get you in a lot of trouble to the turn of a bunch of turnovers. And we've got to be better there. When you don't see it in practice a whole lot, you don't really know that it's going to be much of a problem until you get them in the game. I said this a few weeks ago, you got to evaluate what you see in practice by what you see every day.
This is a case where the numbers speak for themselves with Willis. In his first 8 starts last season, Willis's averages were far better, and at one point, Willis had 6 consecutive games where he threw a touchdown pass. The numbers this year, not too hot in comparison. The 7 interceptions and 3 touchdowns have really stood out in recent weeks. The quarterback's the only position with question marks on offense. The running back core for the Jayhawks is deep, but who do the Hawks rely on to give the team an offensive spark? Nicole Fye has what you need to know for this week.
Halfway through the 2016 season, KU's offense is still looking for answers with new questions posed each week. But one that remains is the state of the rushing offense, an area in which KU's total ground yards are more than doubled by opponents. Every air raid offense needs a complement, an efficient running game. But in 5 of the 6 games this season, KU's rushing efficiency has been less than their fellow air raid opponents by a margin of at least a yard.
We're focusing really on maximizing our opportunities whenever those opportunities come. I think when you're efficient in the run game and this offense, it helps this offense go a long way.
KU had 1 fewer rushing attempt than Baylor, but Baylor put up 3 times the rushing yards. The Jayhawks are still averaging around 3 yards per carry on the ground and about 95 per game while rotating 3 backs. 3 backs whose abilities to move the ball are overshadowed at times by the offensive line.
We have our own job in this offense, and that's to protect the quarterback, and then also when we get our number called, to take advantage of it and make the most out of it.
Hull says his focus is on efficiency by the group and states there's no one featured back, but more of a running back by committee mentality.
And I think if you go back and look at those statistics, it would really give you a good gauge that the room is doing a great job of performing and being efficient in the way we run the football.
While differences in defensive schemes can attribute to KU statistics versus opponents, the only thing that remains certain is this offense needs a spark. Injuries for Saturday's matchup against Oklahoma State are short. Marquise Roberts is still questionable, while Joe Deneen Jr. will not play. Reporting from Memorial Stadium, I'm Nicole Fye, KUJH Sports.
It doesn't get any easier for the Jayhawks this week. KU plays host to Oklahoma State on Saturday during homecoming. That game starts at 11 a.m. After claiming more individual awards from the Big 12 this week, Cassie Waite, Kelsey Payne, and the KU volleyball team all turned their focus to a Thursday night matchup with the West Virginia Mountaineers. Cassie Waite earned another Defensive Player of the Week award for the 3rd time this year. Last week, Waite had 6.5 digs per set to her name, while Payne earned Offensive Player for the Week for the first time this season. While Kansas looks to have a clear advantage on paper, it's still the Big 12 and anything can happen. Game time is set for tomorrow at 6:30 in Morgantown. And lastly, Kansas basketball freshman Josh Jackson is known for many things at KU. He's the number 2 recruit, projected high lottery pick, but Jackson has a talent that many people don't know about, his skills on a saxophone. He may not play often, but his teammates all know about his musical side.
Not often, maybe like once or twice a year, maybe. When I go home for Christmas, my mom will make me break it out.
You know, he's talked about it, and we tried to get him to do it for late night, and he said no. So I'm not sure if it's just, you know, him saying it or if he actually can, but that's an impressive talent.
Carlton asked me to do it, and I told him no. There was no way I was playing a saxophone in front of 16,000 people.
Why?
No way.
Yeah,
I would have been too nervous. I would have been way too nervous.
I mean, you know, Josh, I used to play a little jazz trumpet back in the day. If you and Carlton want to drop out of basketball and, you know, I'm pretty sure we can form a nice little group called the Jazzy 3. We'd be a hit at all the local coffee houses.
We could make one. We could be the Jazzy 3. I have no musical talent. Do you have any musical talent?
I mean, I could kind of play guitar a little bit.
Maybe we could play the homecoming parade instead.
Yeah. Oh, homecoming? Okay.
Well, homecoming week is well underway. On Monday, students participated in the annual sign competition. The winners of the Greek Life sign competition were Phi Gamma Delta, Alpha Gamma Delta, Sigma Delta Tau, and Lambda Chi Alpha. On Tuesday, Greek students came together to create chalk murals for the Chalk and Rock competition. The winners for the Chalk and Rock were Sigma Alpha Epsilon, Alpha Delta Pi, and Delta Lambda Phi. Tonight from 6 to 9 p.m., the Homecoming Food Fest and Jayhawk Jingles will take place in the Adams Alumni Center parking lot. Sounds like fun. Sign me up for food, and I don't have to perform, so I'm definitely in.
Yeah, I don't know about the artistic side, but I can definitely be there just for some free food.
Free
of course.
Free food. Well, that's all we have for us today. Have a great rest of your afternoon.